1 2 1 2. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Motive Racing YouTube channel. We are back here for another season, not just at Motive, but here at the Purple Sector Formula One League for the Tuesday and Thursday night Formula One League that we've been commentating on for the last season or so. Last season we had the bit of a different one in terms of what they usually run. We had a realistic car performance season last season, but we're back to the normal for this season. Unfortunately, missed the first couple of weeks, and obviously because they have two rounds per week, it means that we've essentially missed 4 rounds of racing so far. So we're in round 5 of the season here of 22, so still early doors and still plenty of action to cover over the course of this season. But great to be back here in the commentary box. Great to be back on the Motive Racing YouTube channel after a bit of a layoff, it has to be said. It's the first time I've commentated in a live race in 3 months, so do bear with, and obviously if there's any rustiness or any just not really kind of being with it, then please do excuse me. There is a reason, and obviously I've just explained that just now, so but it should be okay. Shouldn't be an issue. If anything, it might actually play to my advantage tonight, having a bit of a break, because I think when you have a bit of a break from something, it refreshes your mind and you can kind of go at it again with a different perspective. So I don't know, maybe it might be better than it was before, who knows. But anyway, we've got Brinky currently sat at the top of the leaderboard here on a 1 minute 16.2, driving in the Red Bull. You've got T sat in second place here, only 12 thousandths of a second off of him on a 1:16.275. Ruck is in third at the moment, just 2 tenths off for the fastest time being set by Brinky. You've got Matty Pitt there, the league owner here of the Purple Sector Formula One League, currently in 4th place at this point, 4 tenths shy of the fastest time in this session, and Justify rounding out the top 5 there, half a second off of the fastest time there in P5. So close between the top 5 so far, and still a lot of times yet to be put forward here. We've got Truckee in 6th place at the moment, Rexy Boy in 7th as he's coming into the pits at the end of his first run. Oliver's done a time good enough for 8th, but that's not going to be that's not going to be his fastest lap. I'm sure he's got more in the bag, which he's going to be producing over the course of this session. We've also got Ireland. I reckon that's Irelandberg. Has to be Irelandberg. Change of PSN name there for Ireland. Currently in P10, having been pushed down a position there by one of the other drivers. Brinky there, moving up into 2nd place. Lovely lap there from Brinky. And that's a stonking time. Oh, it's V10 Ultra. Look at that. V10 Ultra, sorry, it wasn't Brinky. Brinky was already P1. It was V10 Ultra who went to the top of the leaderboard there on a 1:15 dead. That is absolutely astounding stuff there from him. 1.2 seconds clear of Brinky. That has laid down a marker well and truly here. And obviously, this is our first race that we've covered live here this season. So, be interesting to see whether Teza Muzza has got the speed on this F124 game that he had in F123 to challenge V10. I've heard reports that he's not finding this game as easy as previous games due to the fact that it's not very favourable towards pad users. It's more favourable towards those who race on the wheel. So maybe, just maybe, that might be a bit beyond him tonight. V10 Ultra has definitely laid down the gauntlet so far. 1:15 dead, as I said before. 1.2 seconds clear of Brinky at the top of that leaderboard. So that is a fantastic time there from him. And the rest of them, the close pursuers there from 2nd down to 6th place, is all in the pits at this point. So they're probably just making some changes. Obviously, they know that they've really got to make a difference here. I don't know whether the guys are particularly expecting to be able to challenge that, or if they're just going to accept that it's probably not going to happen. And is it going to be a fight for 2nd place here? Is it going to be a fight for 3rd? Because we don't know what Teza's got in the bags at this point. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see over the course of this qualifying session. So we're about halfway through the session here, nearly halfway through the session, currently 7 minutes in, still with over 10 to go, so still plenty of time left for the drivers to chip away at that gap, but that is an absolutely fantastic time there from V10 Ultra. Let's ride on board here as he's on another flying lap coming into the Villeneuve chicane. And a bit of a slide there on the exit at the corner. You could see there, I would have just lost him a bit of speed, but he's just about up on his fastest time through the hairpin we go. Taking a nice tight line there, good exit as well. And yeah, fractionally up on his fastest time so far in this lap. Here we go, you got a tricky entry to this corner. You're obviously going on over the crest of the hill, and you're suddenly thrown into the deep end here through Imola. Let's see what he's like. Again, sliding the back end, but it's causing him to be able to rotate the car nicely here. So clearly he's gone for a bit of an oversteery setup, and so far so good here for Vitan Ultra. He's 400ths of a second up. As you can see there, it definitely looks like the cars are sliding a lot more on this F124 game than what they have done in the previous games. It looks like they are really living on the edge here, as we see Big Raki has gone into second place in the leaderboard there, only 6/10 off of this man here as he's coming out of the final corner. What is Vitan Ultra going to put on the board as he comes up towards the line? And let's see here, does he improve? He does, by 0.2 of a second there. So once again lowers that benchmark that we've been seeing him set. Well, obviously he set the first one, 15 dead a couple of laps ago, and now a 14.8 there. So he's once again raising that bar here. But Big Raki has got reasonably close here, within 0.8 of a second, and that was his first flying lap of the session. So who knows, we could be seeing Big Raki putting in some more laps before we get to the end of this qualifying here tonight. We're only halfway through the session, and we literally are halfway through the session now. 9 minutes in, 9 to go. So, yeah, so the track will be rubberier, and obviously the drivers will be getting a bit more knowledgeable about the circuit. I think that those who haven't practiced will find that they're generally improving a lot more throughout the qualifying session than those who have, because those who haven't really practiced will be obviously learning on the job, so to speak, as we see Tezza got into third place there with that latest lap of his, but still not what we expect to see from Tezza Muzza. Obviously the multiple champion here at Purple Sector, the reigning champion as well, beat Vitan Ultra to the title last season. Vitan Ultra would dearly love to be able to turn those tables on him, though, as we see Tezza here coming through the hairpin, 0.4 of a second up on his personal best through the first sector. So this is a good lap so far from Tezza. If he can gain 0.4 through every sector, then he'll be on the cusp of taking pole position here, as he's just onto the throttle a little bit tentatively there, down the hill towards Imola. Again, you can see there that it seems like it's this way to do it here on this F124 game, sliding the car in, dealing with the oversteer when you get to the apex of the corner. Certainly looks like they are living dangerously on this game, but I haven't played the game. This is the first time I've commentated on any race on this game. This is literally, I picked it up 10 minutes ago. This is the first event, this is the first race, this is the first eyewitness account I can ever give you of this F124 game. But we see Tezza Muzza out the final corner. What can he do here? Can he challenge Vitan Ultra's pole time? Over the line he comes. He can't challenge the pole time. He's not really close, to be fair to him. He's half a second off at the time set by Vitan Ultra there, but still time in the session, and that is only his second flying lap, so who knows what he'll be able to put on the board. But it's currently Vitan Ultra who has that provisional pole time by a considerable margin as well, looking pretty safe there at the top of that leaderboard. Tezza Muzza there in second, with Big Raki third, Rexy Boy P4 ahead of Matty Pitt in fifth, with Brinky there in sixth place, T7th with Ruck in 8th, Justify 9th, and the Mark in P10. You've got Truck in 11th, followed by Ireland in 12th, Oliver 13th place. Freddie still yet to set a lap time here, running in 14th place. Great to see Freddie out on track. Remember, he took a win at Imola last season in the, what was it, the Oliver's League, which I've forgotten the name of, which is not good. But Freddie there, P4, lovely lap there from Freddie, within a second of the pole time, and only less than 1/10 of a second off of the third spot there from Big Raki. So he's definitely, we know he likes this track, obviously, Freddie, because he won at Imola in one of the other leagues that used to run on a Monday night. It will come to me in a minute. I just forgot the name of it. It's terrible, I know. But we covered it on the Motive channel. We covered a couple of rounds of it before I had to stop doing it, because obviously I had other commitments. But yeah, lovely up there from Freddie nonetheless, and it looks like he could be a contender for the podiums here tonight. If he keeps that up, that sort of consistency, then who knows where he could end up here tonight. It could be a very strong night indeed. But currently 8 of you watching live on YouTube. Hopefully you guys are enjoying. If you're one of the drivers watching this back, then let us know who you are. If you're a friend, family member, or otherwise associate of any of the drivers, then also let us know who you're supporting here tonight. But I tell you what, if you're not supporting Vitan Ultra, then you might be a bit disappointed, because he's currently showing everybody how it's done here tonight. Half a second, as we said before, it's no mean feat around a track like Imola. It's not really the longest of circuits, so half a second, that is a pretty substantial margin there that Vitan Ultra has got. It would be around any circuit, but around here especially. And what has Tezza got in his locker to try and unleash here around this Imola circuit in the last few minutes here of the qualifying? Big Raki, third place still. He's currently 2/10 up on his personal best, so maybe he might be able to challenge Tezza Muzzer's front row here. Let's stay on board with him as he comes through the middle section. Pretty tidy there as he comes up the hill towards that final chicane. Keep an eye on the split times, 0.3 of a second up. So as it stands, he's going to be right on the cusp of putting it on the front row here and getting ahead of Tezza Muzzer for second place. Here he comes then down the hill towards Ravazza. Let's go trackside here as he comes through into the corner, back on board here. You can see they're nailing the apex. Bit of a tentative run there through the first part of Ravazza. Wouldn't have been ideal for him. Here he comes up towards the line. What is it going to be for Big Raki? Oh, look at that. Look at that. He's within 0.2 of a second of the pole time. That is absolutely stonking stuff there from Big Raki. And he's well ahead of Tezza Muzzer. So front row currently for Big Raki. Could he potentially challenge Vita Ultra for pole position here? Hasn't got to find that much more to be able to do that. So Vita Ultra might be looking over his shoulder here. That was an absolutely superb lap there from Big Raki. The only non-PlayStation driver in the lobby here tonight, it would appear. Everybody else, obviously, because the Pebble Sector League originated on PlayStation, but has evolved to the cross-play arena of the Formula 1 game. But Big Raki obviously doing a fantastic job there to get so close to Vita Ultra. And currently, Big Raki splitting the two big guns here in this Pebble Sector Formula 1 League from last season. Obviously, Vita Ultra and Tezza battled out the championship last season, and Big Raki currently the thorn in their side. Got Freddie currently, looks like he's on an in-lap at the moment. He's currently sat in 4th place in this qualifying leaderboard at the moment. You've got Rexy Boy and Brinky also in the pits. Matty Pitt on an out-lap at this point. We've got T currently out there. Let's see what T's doing. T on the exit of Aqua Minerale up the hill towards that final chicane. Let's see what he's doing. He's currently 2 seconds down, so let's watch somebody else. Mark here coming into the final chicane. A little bit down on his personal best so far. What's he got in the final sector to try and redeem himself? Only a 10th down in the middle sector, so could find the time potentially. Maybe could move ahead of Justify if he nails this final part of the lap. Ravazza. Here he comes out of the final corner up towards the line. What is the mark going to put on the board here? Over the line he comes. And he improves to P10, so it does move ahead of Justify. Not too far off of the ruck either, so improved by about 0.3 in that one sector alone there. Fantastic final sector there from the mark. See Freddie into the pits at the end of the session, so that's going to be his qualifying done. It's going to be P4 or best for Freddie, but if he can hold that position, then that's going to be absolutely fantastic there for him. As we can see, V10 there sliding it on his outlap there, trying to get those tyres up to temperature and being a little bit too exuberant with it, it would appear. So we've got Big Raki just coming out of the pits right now on an outlap again. Just about enough time to get around, I think. So V10, Big Raki and Tez are all getting out there on the track. I think Freddie might have just left it a bit late to get back out on track. He's going to be cutting it fine if he's trying to get out before the session ends. We've got Rexy Boy there on his outlap at the moment. Brinky is just coming out of the pits now. So Matty Pitt on a flyer, or rather would appear not. T pulling into the pits at the end of this lap. We've got Ruck currently coming through the middle sector. He's down on his personal best in the first sector. I think that's an in lap there for him. Flat Out Racing League, that was the one, Freddie. Yeah. I remember being there on Monday nights, and I remember commentating on it, but I couldn't for the life of me remember. Thank you very much. It's good to be back. It's good to be commentating again. It's been a minute, hasn't it? But yeah, it's thank you very much. Good to see you out on track as well. You are very, very strong around here, from what obviously I remember from Flat Out Racing League, and yeah, hopefully you can be in the shout with a podium here tonight, mate. Be good to see. Obviously, Freddie did the comms with me actually on the YouTube channel for Motive actually. When he was sidelined for a couple of weeks, he actually did the commentary with myself, and we had a good little natter. We had a good little camaraderie. It was it was good. It was good fun. Spoke about lasagna and amongst other things. But yeah, that was a while back now actually, but I remember there was a clip on our TikTok, I think, of our final lap, and he's having to put me right on something. I remember watching that back the other day actually. But V10 Ultra here coming out of the final corner. Is he going to get over the line to start another lap here? He's not, but he is going to finish this one. And he improves there. What a lap there from V10 Ultra. Improves by half a second to 1 minute 14.3. Absolutely superb time there from V10 Ultra. And he's gone clear at the top of that leaderboard. Big Racky's out there on a lap, but is he going to have time to improve? Or he will have time, but is he going to have the pace? Not sure what his split times are. Oh, he's a 10th down, so it's going to be unlikely that he's going to improve. Tezza goes P2, but can Big Racky respond here? Up towards the line he comes. It's going to be a battle for the front row positions. No, he can't. And Tezza Muzza has nicked P2 right at the end of the session there. So it's V10 Ultra who'll start on pole with Tezza on the front row alongside him. Big Racky there looked like he was going to have P2, but Tezza managing to wrestle it from him in the final knockings of that session there. So Big Racky will start third with Freddie alongside him on the second row. We're going to have Rexy Boy in fifth ahead of Matty Pitt, followed by Brinky and T, with Rock there and DeMarc completing the top 10. Does appear as though Brinky's got into P4 here, pushes Freddie down a position. So nice up there from Brinky right at the end, and Freddie will start P5. And that pushes a few drivers down a position. Justify will start this one in 11th with Oliver 12th, Truckee in 13th, Ireland in 14th with the Mags, which must be Magpie Toon, P15, and Nino Blanco will be starting this one at the back in 16th place. But that is that for the qualifying session here for the Purple Sector Formula One League. And an interesting qualifying session there. It was a constantly evolving session for the places up the top. Obviously, Tezza and Big Racky very close for that front row start, but Tezza managing to nab him there. And the question is now, has Tezza got the race pace that we saw on the previous F1 game? Obviously, looks like V10's got the measure of him in qualifying, but we all know that the points are handed out in the race, not on a qualifying session. So who knows what we might be seeing here from Tezza Muzza over the course of this race. Big Racky's got to be a threat here, but V10 Ultra putting himself in the prime position here for this Imola Grand Prix here at the Purple Sector Formula One League. So this is obviously the first race of the season that we're covering here on the channel here at Motive, but there have been 4 rounds before this. I will just quickly have a look at the championship coming into tonight, because this could be pretty key. It'll give us a little bit of context as to what's actually going on here this season. You can also hear my voice in the background there. I do apologise for that. I need that there because my mic turns off randomly sometimes, so I just need it in the background. I'm keeping it as far away from me as I can, but I've just got my phone up against me at the moment because I'm looking at the standings. So it's Tezza actually leading the championship on 157 points. So he's oh shoot, no, sorry, that's last season. Sorry. Shut up. No, sorry, it's V10 Ultra who leads the championship on 93 points, with Sean in second on 74. Tezza's third on 68 points, followed by Matty Pitt in fourth on 61. Rexy Boy fifth on 60 points, and we're going to have to abandon this because we're about to get underway here. No, we're not. It's the formation lap. We're fine. Formation lap isn't bugged on F1 24. That's great to see. Yeah, I got it down to Rexy Boy P5 on 60 points. The Mags in 6th on 55, followed by Japella in 7th on 44. Then you got Justify in 8th on 33 points. Street Boy is in 9th on 21. And you got Truckee in 10th place in the standings on 18 points. And we're just going to jump off of that because the race is about to start in a second. So let's get ourselves ready for the off here, as they're now just parking in their grid slots, and we should be moments away here from the start of this Imola Grand Prix here at the Purple Sector Formula One League Season X. I was mistakenly calling last season Season 10 on the channel. It was technically the realistic season, but I guess we can call last season Season 10 and this one Season X, even though they technically mean the same thing. But nonetheless, here we go. We're about to go racing here at Imola, and it's lights out and away we go. And Vita Ultra gets a good start there. Beautiful getaways. Big Raki gets a better one than Tezamazza and is up into second place already here off of the line. Lovely start there from Big Raki. You've got Brinky there in fourth place ahead of Freddie. Matty Pitt's made up a position there up into sixth place ahead of Rexy Boy as they come through the first chicane here. Rock's moved ahead of Rexy Boy as well, so Rexy Boy losing a couple of places here off at the start, and not the ideal situation there for him. But it's Vita Ultra leading ahead of Big Raki, followed by Tezamazza with Brinky there ahead of Freddie, followed by Matty Pitt. Rexy Boy's got back ahead of Rock coming into the hairpin there as these two battling out for seventh place there, but Rock there trying to hold it around the outside. Sorry, Rock managing to do so there brilliantly there up into seventh place, managing to keep up to that position. But Vita Ultra there leading the race ahead of Big Raki at the moment, and Tezamazza looking hot on the heels of Big Raki at this stage in the race. They come into Acamurale for the first time, looking like we've got potentially Justify here on the back of Trucky here. Oh, he gets a big tap in the rear there, as that is Oliver there moving ahead of Mags, and we see there Ireland's lost out massively there. Ireland's had a spin there going for Acamurale down to P16, and that's not gone well at all there for Ireland, as we see him now well out of the picture in this fight, as we see Oliver there making a mistake through the chicane as well, down to P15. So Oliver and Ireland both making mistakes here on the first lap, but it's Vita Ultra leading ahead of Big Raki as they come over the line here to complete lap one. You got Tezamazza there in third place, bit of a gap back to Brinky there in fourth, as you can see Freddie putting the pressure here on the back of Brinky here down the start finish straight. He's going to look to the outside here. Is this going to be job done here for Freddie? He's managed to do it without the DRS there. Beautifully done there from Freddie, as Rock and Rexy Boy battling over seventh place, as Rock there down the inside back up into seventh place. Nice move there from him as well. But Freddie up into fourth place, and Vita Ultra still leading the race ahead of Big Raki. Big Raki though keeping him honest in these early stages, it has to be said. And interesting opening to this race. Justifies in the pits at the end of the first lap, so I'm not quite sure why that's happened. Maybe it was a penalty, who knows? Could have been a jump start that might have put him in that position. I didn't actually see any issues that could have potentially been the reason for that, but nonetheless, he's at the back of the pack right now as Oliver's moved ahead of Nino Blanco up into 13th place here in this race. But Vita Ultra starting to gap Big Raki a little bit here. The gap's over a second now between those two, as Tezza here still trying to keep Big Raki on his toes here right now. Freddie's dropping off of these a little bit. Brinky there in P5 ahead of Matty Pitt. Rock, Rexy Boy with T in the mark. You've got Trucky all over the back of the mark here as they come down the hill. Big Raki's got a 3-second time penalty there for multiple track limit warnings, so he's obviously been overstepping the mark a little bit too much there. Vita Ultra there with the fastest lap of the race, no surprise being in the position that he's in. Trucky though keeping the mark on his toes. We'll have DRS this time around. Tezza's got ahead of Big Raki up into second place into turn one. Nice move there from Tezamazza. We've got Trucky here getting closer to the back of the mark here, down towards turn one. It's going to be job done here for Trucky. He's going to look down the inside, but he can't make it happen there. The mark holds on for the time being. Rock here looking very close, looking very hungry on the back of Matty Pitt right now as well. In about for P6, Rexy Boy still right there as you see Rock a bit of a mistake there, which he can't capitalise on at the moment. You've got the mark there really close on the back of Trucky right now. These two swapping positions at the moment for P10. So there's drama, there's action wherever you look in the early stage of this race here at Imola. And Vita Ultra is starting to gap Tezza and Big Raki a little bit here. Tezza's still got Big Raki for company though. He's not been able to shake him off despite getting that move done into turn one at the beginning of this lap. Still pretty close there between these two at the moment. You can see the battle here between Rock and Ray. He's right with these two as well. So it is a three-way battle here actually for 7th place. They're just falling off at the back of Matty Pitt a little bit, who's running in P6. He's falling off of Brinky as well, running in 5th place. But this is going to get interesting here. Rock has got the DRS actually on Matty Pitt, so he'll be able to use that to his advantage here, because he'll be able to use it to defend from Rexy Boy. Rexy Boy looking very close to the back of Rock though. He'll have the slipstream and should get a decent run here down the straight. Here we go then. Rexy Boy to the inside. Rock not putting out any sort of defence there. That's job done there for Rexy Boy. Rock's now going to have T close. No, he's not, because T dropped off for them coming through the final sector there. So T had made a mistake. He was right on them a few moments ago. He's now nowhere to be seen. And Rexy Boy is up into 7th place, and now his next target's got to be Matty Pitt there, running in P6. See Rock there with a 3-second time penalty for track limits. So they're coming in thick and fast already. We're only 3.5 laps in, and we've already seen 2 drivers picking up penalties here. So obviously you get 3 warnings. So if you get a penalty at this stage in the race, you really have been taking advantages. And it's clear that they have been just overstepping that mark a little bit too much here in the early part of this race. Rock still keeping Rexy Boy on his toes here in this fight for 7th place. They're still keeping Matty Pitt within their sights at the moment as well. Big Raki just dropping out of the 1 second zone here to Tezza now. So Tezza looking a bit more comfortable. He's out of DRS threat, should I say. We've got Rexy Boy here still on the back of Matty Pitt as well as they're coming down the hill towards Ravazza. And Mags is now on the back of Truckee as well in this fight for the final points paying position here for P10. But I think he's a little bit too far away. He's got DRS, but he's not really close enough to pose any sort of realistic threat to him at this point. Rexy Boy here getting closer to the back of Matty Pitt into turn 1. Too far back still at this moment in time. Ruck there waiting in the wings here in 8th place. On the run down towards the Tamburello chicane. So now looking to the outside here is Rock. He's going to try and go round Rexy Boy here. I tell you what, this would be a heck of a move if he can pull this off. Has he done it? He's still there alongside him. They're side by side, but Rexy Boy will have the inside up the hill, and that's surely going to be Rexy Boy clinging onto that one. And he does so nicely there, positioning his car in exactly the right place there. And Rock can't get that one done for the time being. T in the background, not too far off of these guys at this point. Rock trying to hassle Rexy Boy at this stage, but just not really in a position where he can apply enough pressure. Oh, having said that though, as I say that, famous last words, Rexy Boy makes a small mistake there through the chicane, and now Rock is through up into 7th place. So obviously, commentator's curse there, and nicely done there from Rock. Took full advantage there when the opportunity arose. In the background, T's waiting and watching this battle as it unfolds. Rexy Boy, though, who's got the DRS here on Rock down the start-finish straight, and he's going to get him back here straight away without any dramas there. T there is going to get a run here on Rock as well. Rock could lose 2 places here. Oh, T goes late on the brakes and overshoots the corner there. And if Rock's clever about this, he'll get the cut back here. But he hasn't managed to do so. And he gets squeezed onto the grass there. T a little bit aggressive there, I have to say. But T does get that position there. I wonder if Rock might be putting an inquiry about that, because T definitely squeezed him off of the road there a little bit. We've got a flashing caution in the top left-hand corner. It's my first ever race that I've commentated or even been present for on this game, so if a flashing caution means something else, then do bear with, because I actually don't know. This is the first race I've ever actually witnessed on this game in any form, and it just so happens that I'm streaming it live as well. But Beaton Ultra nonetheless with the lead here out the front, and he's continuing to cement his position at the head of the pack. He's got over 2 seconds over Tezza Muzza. Big Raki continuing to just stay a little bit out of the catchment zone there of Tezza for DRS. You got Brinky here trying to keep himself within DRS of Freddie at the moment, but these two have fallen off of the top 3 a little bit. Top 3 do seem to be in a bit of a league of their own at this stage in the race. Nino Blanco there now with the penalties, so there is now 6 drivers with time penalties at this stage in the race. You've got Big Raki, Matty Pitt, Ruck, also Nino Blanco, Oliver and Ireland, all with penalties at this stage, and now add the mark to that list because they are racking them up like no tomorrow here at this stage in the race, which is not really what you want to be seeing. You want to be seeing drivers keeping it within the limits, and you don't want to be seeing races decided in the steward's room or due to penalties. You know, there's nothing worse than when in racing than when you see drivers crossing the line at the end of a race and you think that they've finished in a certain position, and then suddenly the order just gets rearranged completely to something totally contrary to what it actually appears. Yeah, it's just not ideal, really. Kind of takes the excitement out of it just a little bit. But we can see here Rexy Boy, T and Ruck still battling over 7th, 8th and 9th places at this point as they come through Minerale here for the 7th time in this race. You've got Tezza Mazda there with a 3-second time penalty there for track limits. And he's still got the gap just... well, he's got a gap actually a bit bigger than what it was to Big Raki, running in 3rd place just behind him. But in this battle for 7th place, it's still Rexy Boy just ahead of T and Ruck at this point. So come over the line here to start their 8th laps of the races. So still T pretty close here with DRS as well. What about Ruck? Ruck's getting closer and closer, but T has that DRS in front of the, obviously with Rexy Boy being in front of him, so that's pretty much inhibiting Ruck's ability to get anywhere near him. And T for the time being holding on to 8th place, getting a bit close here to the back of Rexy Boy coming into this next section, but still a bit too far away at this point. But early stages of the race have unravelled, and it looks like it's a similar story to qualifying in terms of the top drivers here. V10 Ultra has just driven away out the front. He's got a 2-second gap here right now. He's averaging quarter of a second, 0.3 of a second, a lap quicker than his closest rival Teza Mazza, who in turn seems to have the upper hand over Big Raki at this stage in the race. They're all just pulling away from each other at this point. Freddie there running in 4th place, best of the rest here, has got now quite a comfortable gap to Brinky, just over a second. He's out of DRS threat at this particular moment in time. And you got Matty Pitt, who does appear to be bringing the gap down a little bit here to Brinky, so this could be one to watch here. Maybe Matty Pitt might be able to pile on that pressure and potentially put himself in the shop window for a top 5 spot here in this race. Has he got DRS? That's the question. No, he was just outside of the detection point, or rather just outside of the 1 second window at the detection point. And he's currently not in range to make anything happen here. Rock in the meantime challenging on T here. It's the McLaren versus the Aston Martin here into turn 1, and Rock's going to try and make that move. T's going to try and keep himself there on the outside. Rock there gives him the space and gets that move done there up into P8. Lovely move there from Rock. Now can he try and chase after Rexy Boy? Rexy Boy's managed to make a bit of a gap here whilst these two have been fighting, and it's now got over a second to them, but Rock does get that move done there on T. T goes to send one up the inside there into the hairpin. Oh, what a move there from T. That came out from pretty much nowhere. Didn't get a great exit out of the corner though, and Rock might be able to fancy a move here around the outside. In fact, as T waving him by, I think he might have been there. Maybe T felt that he was aggressive there, I don't know. He looked like he just let him past on the run up the hill. So, yeah, I don't really know what's going on there between those two. But nonetheless, Rock back up into 8th place here in this one. Matty Pitt, oh, look at this. He's really close to Don Brinky over the course of this lap. Gap well under a second now, and he'll have DRS and he'll have the slipstream as well coming down the start-finish straight. So Matty Pitt could be fancying a top 5 spot here in a few moments' time. Here we go then. Does he get a good exit out of the final corner? Good enough. And he'll get the DRS here. He'll get that closing speed. He might have a chance here into turn 1. Here we go, on board with Matty Pitt. And this is going to be a routine pass here for Matty Pitt as he now looks to the inside. Brinky doesn't even fight it, knows it's going to happen anyway. And Matty Pitt there up into 5th place. That is job done there for him. The league owner here at Purple Sector doing a fantastic job. And now he can try and chase down Freddie, who's 2 seconds up the road there in 4th place. And has had a pretty isolated race so far in this one. He's been just doing his own thing in 4th place. Saying that though, Big Raki's made a mistake, and Freddie's now right on the back of him here. So Freddie potentially sniffing a podium at this stage in the race, and Big Raki's now got his hands full. Has he got damage potentially? That could be a big cork in the bottle for him as well, if that is the case. These two couple of seconds clear of Matty and Brinky, who could now be bringing that gap down with this drama that's unfolding in front of them. Big Raki with another penalty there. And Freddie, one of the only drivers to not be sporting a time penalty at this stage in the race. So he will capitalise. He will be able to take advantage of the misfortunes of those in front of him, namely Big Raki, who's right in front of him here. So this is obviously good news for Freddie, and potentially a podium could be on the horizon here if he continues to do what he's doing at this point. But V10 Ultra still out in front, over 4 seconds of a gap right now over Teza Mazza. And Big Raki here coming under increasing pressure here from the Visa Cash App RB of Freddie as we come into turn 1. A little bit too far away just there. Brinky's made the move back on Matty Pitt up into P5. So these two trading places right now, they seem quite evenly matched. Brinky's now been given the hurry up. That's given him a bit of a kick up the bum there, being overtaken by Matty Pitt, and he's got him returned their favour beautifully there. So this could be a battle that continues on for the duration of the race potentially. But look at Freddie here. He's looking pretty racy here on the back of Big Raki. Gets a good run there out of the hairpin. Now looking to the inside up the hill. Is he going to have a chance to make this move? Doesn't go for it there. Quite sensibly backs out of that one because Big Raki had that outside line, that faster line, and it could have potentially been a catastrophic consequences if he had kept his car on the inside there. So Freddie doing the right thing there, and obviously making sure that he doesn't get any damage on his car. But Big Raki, for the time being, still running in 3rd place. Big Brinky there running in P5. Matty Pitt still in that fight for 5th place, as Matty Pitt still keeping himself very much in striking distance here. But these two currently really the battles going on right now. Big Raki, Freddie, and Brinky and Matty Pitt. Everybody else seems to have just settled down at the moment. Not really any other fights going on at this point. On board with Freddie as we see Big Raki coming in. So first to blink in this race. I think that's the first scheduled pit stop I've seen so far, at least that I've been able to spot. And obviously most of the drivers coming in, or most of the drivers have started on mediums. I think everybody started on mediums because Justify came in on the first lap. Oliver's come in for hards already. So Big Raki, actually Oliver came in, was the first to come in. He came in a lap ago for the hard tyres. Big Racky's come in for some hard tyres, and obviously we saw Justify coming on the first lap for an unscheduled pit stop for the hard tyres as well. So actually Big Racky's the second driver to make a scheduled pit stop onto the hard tyre. But everybody looks like they started on the mediums here tonight. And pretty much most of the pack still yet to come in to make their first pit stop of the night. But V10 Ultra here still leading the race by 7 seconds now ahead of Tezza Muzza, with Tezza a few seconds clear of Freddie running in third place. But Freddie's race has got to be with Big Racky here tonight, and if he can if Freddie can keep himself out of trouble here and not get any time penalties over the course of this race, then he is going to be very close to Big Racky at the end. Big Racky might have the edge on him in terms of pace, but we know he's got a mistake in him, and he's got a few penalties in him as well now. He's got another 3-second time penalty. That's just popped up on the screen there. Ruck also with a penalty, so they are being handed out willingly by stewards here tonight. But Freddie keeping his nose clean, as is Rexy Boy T and Trucky as well. So those four guys, the only ones without penalties so far in this race. Tezza into the pits and off and away has fitted the hard tyres, which will take him to the end of the race. So race leader V10 Ultra still yet to pit. He's gap 12 seconds over second place man Freddie, but obviously a net fourth we believe, unless of course he can jump Big Racky in the pits. But with Big Racky getting the undercut, I think that's unlikely. Brinky in the meantime still keeping the pressure on the back of Matty Pitt here for third place. Cracking little battle here between these two for that final podium place. Tezza still keeping Trucky on his toes at the moment here for 8th and 9th places. Obviously Tezza will be wanting to make headway as quickly as he can here, because he's essentially in a net second place here, so he won't want to be waste time through the traffic and struggling to clear these mid-pack drivers here, as we can see him getting very close to the back of Trucky. Trucky looking like he's holding his ground though. He's not in any mood to be waving him by, and he's certainly under no obligation to, as these two battling over position here. Trucky's got his own race to worry about and shouldn't be waving him by under any circumstances here. But Tezza might be getting a bit frustrated here. He'd be patient here. He needs to be patient, because he can wait for that DRS zone, obviously coming out of the final corner. He'll get that rear wing open and he should be able to make a routine move. As long as he gets a good exit out of the final corner here, this should be job done here for Tezza Muzza. Here we go. And is Trucky going to come into the pits? No, he stays out, but Tezza's going to make the move nonetheless here, as Ireland's out of the race. Has Ireland crashed? Because we've got a safety car here. He must have had an incident, and this is now going to benefit all of those who could be in a P2. Obviously he's in a P2 anyway, but he was in an P4 before this, so the podium, still your race leader. My headphones just fell out there, but I was speaking through my controller headset there. But yeah, that is going to be obviously good news there for Freddie. That's going to bring him well into this race. V10 Ultra, the race leader, will get a free pit stop. He'll still be in the lead. It's not going to make too much of a difference to him. In fact, the safety car, if anything, is probably going to be a bit of a ball ache for him, because obviously it now means that he's got the whole pack on his rear end. But into the pits he comes nonetheless, and Freddie will be pulling in a second as well. Matty Pitt not too far behind. Also, Matty Pitt could really benefit from this. Matty Pitt could jump Tezza and Big Racky here as well. So this is huge here for Freddie and Matty Pitt. Trucky, I don't think, is going to be able to slot in ahead of these guys. He's too far behind. So V10 predictably there, emerging with the race lead still. And yeah, frustrating situation here for Tezza and Big Racky, because they can see Freddie and Matty Pitt potentially coming out of the pits in front of them. No, Tezza's going to come out ahead. What about Freddie? Where's Freddie? Oh, it's going to be close here. Oh, it's going to be very close. Freddie is going to come out in P2, just ahead of Tezza Muzza. Look at that. Freddie is running in second place here, so he gets the well, the rub of the green there, essentially. He's come out just ahead of Tezza Muzza. We've got Big Racky there in fourth place, with Matty Pitt coming out behind them. So Freddie and Matty Pitt were the ones who we were expecting to benefit from this. In the end, Matty Pitt just got pipped out of the pits there by Tezza and Big Racky. So Freddie, the big winner in this safety car phase, gaining 2 places there, jumping Tezza and Big Racky. But V10 Ultra is your race leader still, and obviously nothing's changed in that regard. Only driver to not be on the hards at the moment is Justify. He's put a set of mediums on, so maybe going to try and go to the end from here, but that's going to be a bit of a push. I think it's doable, but it'd be a bit difficult. Obviously, Justify will have the pace on paper, being on the medium tyres, because they are quicker than the hards, but they're less durable. Welcome back, everybody. Sorry for that little outage there. Just had to quickly sort something out. But yeah, here we are coming towards the end of the safety car period. It's been confirmed safety cars coming in this lap, so it's going to be Vita and Ultra to get us underway again with Freddie in second place. the major beneficiary of the situation with the safety car there, so getting himself into second place. Tezza in third place with Big Raki right behind them. So obviously those two were in the podium places, but with Big Raki now running in fourth place, he's got work to do if he wants to get that podium place, especially with that penalty, which we've mentioned a few times in this race. Freddie, with no penalty, has kept his nose very clean. Although saying that, Tezza's got a fantastic getaway there and has already got ahead of him here coming down towards turn one. As we can see, Raki here is unable to take advantage of Freddie's sleepy start there, as we got Ruck there losing out to Nino Blanco down to the back of the pack. Not a great start there for Ruck. Freddie there losing out to Matty Pitt as well, so Matty Pitt up into fourth place and down to P5 there, so it's not gone the way that Freddie would have wanted it to after obviously having P2 handed to him there through the safety car period. But it's V10 Ultra leading ahead of Matezza, followed by Big Raki, Matty Pitt, Freddie there at P5 ahead of Brinky, and you got Rexy Boy ahead of T, followed by Trucky, Justify in P10, Mark, Nino Blanco and Ruck at the back of the field there in 13th place of those still remaining. Obviously Oliver, Ireland and Mags all out of the race here. Mags very early on. Ireland was the trigger of the safety car, and Oliver during the safety car didn't see that one. But yeah, currently V10 Ultra still out the front. Tezza is going to be trying to keep him on his toes, but I think that V10 Ultra is just going to be stretching that gap, because we saw in the first stint that Tezza just could not handle V10 Ultra's pace at all. He seems to be in another league around this circuit. Seems to be in another league altogether here. Qualifying was pretty one-sided, and so far in the race it's been a similar story. So V10 Ultra there with the fastest lap of the race so far, 1:17.3 on those fresh tyres. We can see Brinky has got Rexy Boy looking on his inside here down the start-finish straight, but Brinky with the better straight line speed pulling away from him as they come down towards turn one, and holds on to that one for the time being. See Ruck into the pits here at the end of lap 18. V10 Ultra still leading the race ahead of Tezza Muzza. Big Raki there in third ahead of Matty Pitt. Freddie there P5. Brinky, Rexy Boy, T, Justify and Trucky completing the top 10. And Mark, Nino Blanco and obviously Ruck in the pits here at this point in the race. But V10 Ultra's gap to Tezza's still just under a second at this point. Tezza's keeping him on his toes, but I don't know how long he's been able to keep this up for, because we know what V10's like once he gets into a rhythm and starts to find his feet. He's very, very difficult to keep to contend with here. One thing that we need to keep aware of is that obviously Big Raki's got quite a few penalties now. We've seen it flashing up non-stop over the course of the race so far. We know that Matty Pitt's got a penalty as well, so Freddie could still be on course for a podium here if he keeps himself in the right place at the right time. Who knows what could happen here. But currently P5 didn't get the best of starts to this restart, but who knows, that could have even been tactical. I don't know whether or not he's thinking about the penalties there. Maybe he didn't want to be ahead of them because he didn't want the pressure of having them behind him. If he can control the race behind them and stay within that necessary gap, then who knows, that might be his best chance of getting a podium here. But Rexy Boy getting ahead of Brinky up into P6 down the start finish straight into turn one. And V10 still leading the race, but Tezza keeping him on his toes here. I'll tell you what, Tezza's been quicker since the safety car restart than what we saw in the first stint. He's definitely got a similar pace here to V10 Ultra. We got JR in the comments, says, "Yo Andy, hoping you and Nana are well." Yep, doing very well. Yep. Still the same as always. Yeah, hopefully you and the family are doing good as well. Haven't seen you in ages, JR, to be fair. I haven't spoken to you in ages, should I say. Never actually met you, but feels like we have, but we actually haven't. But hopefully you're doing good, mate. Good to see you on the comments, and you'll be seeing more of these. I still see your streams every now and again. I need to just pop in a comment sometimes. I feel like sometimes my input just isn't needed in certain scenarios, but I will certainly say hi when I see you streaming next. I know it's been a little while, I think, since I've seen one of your streams, but I see your views now, and I see your channel is doing absolutely brilliantly, your personal channel. It's great to see you getting the views and obviously a lot of likes and a lot of comments and just general engagements. Good to see. Brinky in the meantime up into P6 as T there around the outside of Rexy Boy. Rexy Boy was very hesitant there going into turn one, and T up into 7th place. Now T looking to try and attack on the back of Brinky here as well, but Brinky holding firm in P6 at the moment. We got V10 Ultra here still out the front, but Tezza's keeping him on his toes at the moment. Really good to see that Tezza has found a bit of pace here over the course of this race. Saying that though, he's got a 3-second time penalty there for track limits, and that's going to hurt him Seeing as we're coming into the final sort of third of the race, I think it's only apt that we put the penalties up on the screen because that'll give us a bit more context as to what we're watching. So obviously we've got Beaten Ultra only 3 seconds, he's fine. Tezama's 6 seconds. It would be a problem if it wasn't for the fact that the man behind him has got 15 seconds worth. Big Racky's racking him up like no tomorrow. As it stands, Freddie will be on the podium here at the end of this race. Matty Pitt has got more penalties than Freddie. He was ahead of Freddie until a moment ago, but Freddie's got ahead of him up into P4, so Freddie made that move on the previous lap. And he's now running in 4th place here in this race. T there is now on the back of Brinky. He's going to have DRS as well down the start-finish straight. And is this going to be a chance for T to make this move? He's getting closer and closer and closer, but is it just going to be a little bit too far back? He's going to try and go around the outside here. This would be a fantastic move if he can pull it off, and he has done it brilliantly there to T. Up into P6. That is job done there for him. Rexy Boy, in the meantime, is on the back of Justify, as we can see them coming out of the first chicane here, down towards the second chicane. Still a little bit too far away here. Oh, Big Rocky's made a mistake. He's had a spin, and just to compound issues there with his penalties, he's now also had a spin as well. He's dropping down the order down to 9th place with the pack being so concertinaed up after the safety car restart. And that's going to only add insult to injury on what could have been a strong race for him. He's at the pace, but the consistency has not been there, and the discipline has certainly not been there tonight for Big Rocky. In the meantime, though, Tezza is really bringing this fight to Beaten Ultra. You can see these two coming into Ravazza right now. Bit of a lock up there from Tezza, but he might have DRS here down the start finish straight. This could be a battle on here for him. He needs to obviously get ahead and pull a 3-second gap if he wants to win the race. So there's a lot of work to do for him. But here we go. DRS for the Ferrari, getting closer and closer to the back of that Williams. He's just going to get there a little bit too late here coming into turn 1. And Beaten Ultra's going to hold on this time around, but if Tezza can keep himself close over these next couple of laps, he'll surely get the opportunity to go for the move here in the DRS zone. You see Brinky there moving back ahead of T up into 5th place. These two having a bit of a battle here. Matty Pitt's dropped out of the DRS range for Freddie here. These two are in 3rd and 4th places, so Freddie looking better and better for that podium place. Freddie has now got a penalty, but it's only 3 seconds worth, so it's not going to be a major issue as long as he doesn't get any more. But Beaten Ultra and Tezza half a second between these two. This is battle on for the race win. I'm telling you that now. This is definitely not going to be V10's race. It's not going to be he's not going to be a runaway performance like it was looking like in the first stint. Tezza's certainly come alive in the second part of this race since the safety car restart. It seems to have really galvanised him. And as they come down towards Ravazza here for the 23rd time in this race, coming into the closing stages here at Imola for this Purple Sector Formula 1 League, round 5 of Season X here. Round 5 of 22 races here. As we see, Ruck there's got a 3-second time penalty for track limit warnings. As Tezza here making the move on the inside of Beaten Ultra into turn 1, and that is job done there. This is for the race lead. Tezza there, beautifully timed there, managed to make his move up the inside with the DRS open. Beaten Ultra's now got a fight on his hands here, or is he going to take it? Oh no, Tezza's made a mistake. Oh, Tezza's gone wide onto the gravel there. He missed the apex by a country mile, got himself into a bit of a spin, and Beaten Ultra retakes the lead of the race here. Tezza Muzza, after all that hard work trying to take the lead, has completely blown it here. I was about to say that he'd need to pull a 3-second gap, and V10 was probably just going to keep himself in the sweet spot there, but Tezza has completely and utterly destroyed all of his hard work here. And he's now running 4 seconds behind there in second place, and he's going to have to be careful because Freddie's now only just over a second behind him, and with Tezza got a 6-second time penalty there, Freddie's got only 3 seconds, so that's going to benefit Freddie massively here. As long as he can keep himself within 3 seconds by the checkered flag, he will inherit second place here. So this is going to be a tricky one for Tezza now, and Freddie just needs to keep cool on the back of him here. Tezza's obviously going to be in a bit of a funk as well after that one, so it's going to be it's going to be a bit difficult now. I'd say for Tezza to keep his head cool in this situation. Freddie's going to be poised to make sure he can capitalise. And Matty Pitt is currently running in 4th place, a few seconds off of these now. It looks like Tezza and Freddie just started to cement their positions there in the podium places. Brinky has made the move on T up into P5. Again, these two battling it out. They have been for the last few laps. Justify very close on Rexy Boy here as well in about the 7th and 8th places. But Justify just appears to be a little bit too far away at this particular moment in time. V10 Ultra out the front. It's got a nearly 4-second gap right now over Tez and Mazza. Tez is pulling away from Freddie, which he needs to do, because with Freddie with the penalties having a 3-second sort of debt, if you like, Tez has got to Freddie, so that will come back to bite him on the bum if Freddie is within that 3 seconds by the end of the race. But we've got T here on the back of Brinky here down towards the final chicane. A little bit too far away this time around, but he'll have DRS down the start-finish straight in a few moments' time. Exciting racing here tonight for the opening round of the opening broadcast of the Purple Sector Formula 1 League here on the Motive Racing channel tonight. Obviously they have raced 4 races so far this season, but we haven't been able to commentate on them because we simply have not been here. But we're back now, and we're hopefully going to cover all of the races from now until the end of the season. As here's T looking to the outside here on Brinky. Is he going to try and go all the way around him here? Brinky holding his ground and holding his nerve there and keeping on to P5. Justify there has got a DNF, so he's out of the race. Looks like the safety car's not going to come out, so we're going to do it under double waved yellow flags for the time being. But Justify out of the race, and we're down to 11 drivers here in this one as Truckee into the pits here. Oliver there saying, shame about the DNF, but cheering on for my teammate, Team V-Carb, he says. Freddie currently flying the flag for you at the moment. He's doing a fantastic job here in 3rd place right now. But he looks like he might be missing out on 2nd place because Tez is pulling out that gap to him. Tezza obviously has got that 3-second debt in terms of penalties to Freddie, but as long as he's out of that gap, he'll be okay. And he's almost managed to pull out that 3-second gap in the space of about 3 laps. So I think unless he makes another mistake or gets another penalty, I think that Tez and Mazza should be okay for 2nd place. But nonetheless, a podium finish for you boys would be absolutely fantastic. And currently Freddie on course to do exactly that here. T still within a second of Brinky here as they're coming through the final corner as well. Is he going to have a chance to make this move here down the start-finish straight? He might be close enough. It's going to be close. DRS open here for the McLaren, getting closer and closer to the back of that Red Bull. You can see there as they go over the start-finish line, he's getting closer and closer. He's going to go to the inside. Yes, he is. The room's there for him. He's going to send one down the inside. Late on the brakes, there is T. And he makes that move that we've seen him make over the course of this race. He seems to have a bit of confidence on the brakes around this track, does T. But saying that, though, Brinky's not done. He's going to try and come back at him, but he's too far back here, coming into the 2nd chicane. And T does have that one done up into 5th place. Beautifully done there from him. And Brinky's still going to be there, though. I can tell you that he'll be coming back at him if he possibly can over the rest of this race. This is not over between these two for P5, that is for sure. But in the meantime, it's V10 Ultra still out the front, the race leader. Just over 5 laps left to go. We're well and truly into the closing stages now of this Imola Grand Prix here for the Purple Sector Formula 1 League. Round 5 of 22, 4th Season X here. As we've got Jazzman in the comments. Hello, Jazzman. Good to see you, mate. Jazzman, the 5-time champion of the GT3 on Assetto Corsa Competizione here at Motive Racing, and obviously chimes in when he can as well. It's the first time we've been on for ages, so he's been Johnny on the spot. Good to see you, mate. And hopefully we'll have some news in regards to the ACC leagues very, very soon. Hoping to have a GT3 obviously on Sunday as always, but maybe a Porsche Super Cup as well. There has been talk of that and some interest from certain people, so maybe we'll have 2 race nights on ACC very soon. But yeah, great to see Jazzman watching as always here. T has lost out to Brinky again here, so these two continuing to fight it out, and Brinky back up into P5. T still right on the back of him though as they come into the hairpin. A little bit too far away though as they come through that sequence. And nothing doing up the hill. Brinky's going to have to hold position for the time being. V10 Ultra still out the front. Just under 3 seconds of a gap here right now over Tezza Muzza. Freddie's just dropping off of Tezza a little bit. Tezza can't really live with V10 at the moment, and looks like Freddie is just not really on the pace of Tezza at this point either. But nonetheless, a very, very strong performance from both Tezza and Freddie here tonight. And Matty Pitt doing a good job there in 4th place. We'll get some good points as well. He might be under threat here from Brinky though, because Brinky is within 6 seconds of him, and Matty does have that 6-second debt to Brinky for penalties, so he could be he could be under threat a little bit here. So Matty Pitt's got to be wary of that, and has got to make sure that gap's over 6 seconds before the checkered flag. Brinky can see all that are saying that though. Brinky's gonna have his arms full because T's just made the move in for P5. So actually, it looks like maybe T's got Matty's back here, or is T going to try and carve that gap down and get within 6 seconds? I think surely he is going to try and do that, but these two are going to probably shoot each other in the foot here and stop each other from getting P4 if they continue to battle like they are. But T running in P5 in this race made a lovely move there. Gap coming down a little bit between V10 and Tezza. Now just under 3 seconds. It was just over a few moments ago, but the gap's ebbing and flowing here between these two. Seems like V10 just starting to just ease off a little bit as Tezza's got a 9-second penalty now. Another 3-second penalty for him, and Freddie's going to be seeing that, and he's going to know his opportunity's certainly there for him. He is going to be very excited at that one. Freddie now, once again, in a net second place here. So Tezza needs to pull out 2 seconds in this last 3 laps if he wants to get second place. Oliver's going to be looking at that, and he's going to be chomping at the bit right now. So Freddie just needs to stay where he is. He needs to make sure he's lapping within half a second a lap of Tezza in these final 3 laps, and he will have second place in the bag here, and needs to make sure he doesn't get any penalties either, obviously. But potentially Freddie on course for a P2 here tonight. V10 Ultra still out in front, still bossing things here in this round 5 of the season, and it's looking very unlikely that anything's going to thwart him at this point. No commentator's curse intended, but Freddie definitely on course for a second place here if things stay as they are. Brinky still keeping T on his toes here for 5th place. These two have been battling it out for the last few laps consistently, and looking like that's going to continue all the way to the checkered flag here between these two. Come on, Freddie, I believe in you, mate, says Oliver. I think we all do at this point, Oliver. He's within 4 seconds of Tezza Buzzer. He's got a 6-second advantage in terms of penalties. So as things stand, he will pick up that second place. As we see Matty Pitt there with another 3-second time penalty. He's now got 12 seconds worth of penalties. So he will now lose out to T and Brinky. T and Brinky will finish in 4th and 5th places respectively. Matty Pitt will drop down to at least P6. Potentially further down, maybe Rexy Boy might even get him as well at this point. So maybe Matty Pitt might be dropping down to 7th place here by the checkered flag, which is a bit frustrating there for him. But V10 Ultra still out the front here with his gap just under 4 seconds over Tezza Muzza at this stage in the race. Tezza's starting to drop off a little bit in these closing stages. Freddie still within that magic window here from Tezza. And Matty Pitt here, let's just put a lap on one of the back markers there, which is Ruck there as they come out on the exit of the hairpin. Brinky still hassling the back of T in this battle for P5. This one's going to go down to the wire, I'm sure, between these two with a lap and a half left to go in this race. V10 Ultra, 3 seconds. The gap's come down a little bit over the course of this lap. Tez has just chipped away ever so slightly on this lap so far. Brinky's got a DNF there. Brinky is out of the race, and is that surely not a safety car? It's surely too late for that.
Being on the medium tyres because they are quicker than the hards, but they're less durable.
So V10 Ultra starts his final lap of the race here at Imola. And what a drive it's been from V10 Ultra tonight. Has been the man to be for the entirety of this one, and had it pretty much under his control since the beginning. There was a moment after the safety car restart where Tezza was putting that pressure on, and it was looking like maybe it might be a 2-horse race, but it wasn't very long lasting. I wonder if Tezza was just taking a little bit too much out of the tyres at the time, and eventually it began to unravel, and this man came into his own and started to pull out that gap. And it's looking like it is going to be the W here tonight as Vitan Ultra comes down the hill into Ravazza for the final time. Also Freddie now within a second of Tezza, so Tezza made a mistake on the final lap, but here we come into the final corner here at Imola, and it is going to be Vitan Ultra to take round 5 of the season here for the Purple Sector Formula 1 League. Over the line he comes, Vitan Ultra, with a dominant performance tonight across qualifying and the race. Vitan Ultra is your race winner, with Tezza Muzza coming up towards the line to take second on the track, but it is going to be Freddie to take P2 here tonight at Imola. Tezza Muzza comes over in third place in the end. Matty Pitt's going to cross the line on the track in fourth, but he's going to lose out on the penalties. It's going to be T over to take P4 as Brinky has crashed out on the final lap. I don't know if he had an incident there with T, he must have done surely, but T over the line to finish this one in P4 with Matty Pitt 5th place in the end. Rexy Boy finishes 6th. And Mark is coming out the final corner here. It's going to be a P7 here for Mark, with Truckee not too far. Well, actually, he's quite a way behind there in 8th place. Truckee coming out the final corner here. It's going to be P8 for him. Nino Blanco not too far behind there. Just behind him in 9th place, you can see there in the background. Rock's already finished the race, so that is the race done here. And that is that for tonight's action here for the Purple Sector Formula 1 League. And it is Vitan Ultra who takes a commanding win. The championship leader once again extending his gap at the top of the standings. And Tezza Muzza in the end losing out on second place to Freddie. So Freddie there in the right place at the right time with the lack of penalties. Only got 1 penalty as opposed to Tezza's 3 penalties. And obviously his due diligence paid off there. So well done to him, and well done to all the drivers here tonight. We've putting on a fantastic show here on the Motive Racing YouTube channel. Well done to the Purple Sector Formula 1 lads for their fantastic driving tonight. Really clean and a pleasure to watch. And hoping for more of the same throughout the season. Really impressed with the standard of driving here this season. Looking forward to Thursday night already. And also make sure you join us on Friday night for the Formula 1 League for Motive as well. And yeah, in a month or so's time, soon we're going to have the ACC leagues back as well at Motive. So there'll be lots on the channel to get involved with and get excited about. Or join our Discord server for any information. Join the Purple Sector Formula 1 League, or rather, actually, I don't think Matty Pitt's looking for drivers at the moment, so maybe don't. But anyway, regardless of whatever the case is, I don't know if he might be, in which case the links will be in the description. But anyway, thanks everybody for watching, and we'll take it easy. We'll see you all in the next one. See you Thursday night. Good night.